He's there.
Oh, I can't hear you, Lona. What did you say?
Lona, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. It's
Hello.
so lovely to see you.
Oh my God, ma'am. Hi.
Hi.
I missed you so much.
I missed you too. Oh my goodness. I miss your writing.
Oh my God. Me too. I haven't got to read anything except the last posts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I will.
You can start, yes.
Yeah. I'll begin with a question that I think everyone wants to know the answer to. What is Iowa like?
It is wonderful. It is it's a place. So like Joseph, it's a place of magic. I get to write all the time. I have the most wonderful teachers, and my cohort is amazing. Like the people who I'm studying with, they are some of the most brilliant writers and brilliant people I've ever met. And so I'm just having a lot of fun, and I get to write a lot, and yeah. But I miss you.
I miss you too, ma'am. Okay, so yeah, that's great. But can you tell me, so what's I have a lot of questions, but what has changed between Bangalore and Iowa, and in terms of writing and in terms of other things that you have discovered?
Okay, so one thing is, so I had this issue for the longest time where I couldn't edit anything I wrote. And I don't know if you remember, maybe it was only the teachers, but I kept going around this college and asking people, how do you edit? How do you edit? And I'd keep getting answers, and they were all really helpful. But somehow I still wasn't able to edit. And I had a workshop last semester, which was really great. And people gave me feedback, and it was feedback from multiple people. And I saw things that were that were common in the feedback. And it was, like, I don't describe much. I don't, this is the problem with my dialogue. And I started seeing those things now when I'm writing. And so I'm able to edit, which is great, because I've never edited in my life. And I'm like, I can edit when it's someone else's piece, but I can't edit my own. And so it's amazing to be able to edit. And there's also a lot of time to write, which is great. But I think one of the similarities between Joseph's and Iowa is that there's so much love for writing. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, even if I can't edit, at least the love is there, and it's just fostered so well in both places. And I feel very lucky to have studied in both these places.
That's amazing. Yeah, I would like to know how to edit as well. So it feels like I edit more than I write, because I'm always like constantly like that sentence is not good enough. So like I just
You
keep
write
writing.
beautifully.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, same goes for you, ma'am. I've been a fan of your writing for like since I read it. So like,
Thank you.
Okay, so next question is, do you miss teaching?
Do I miss teaching? I do. I'm actually teaching a small class in the public library thing, and I miss all of you guys a lot. I miss being able to talk to you. I miss being at the department and just having people come around and be like, show me their writing, and be like, and like talking to them about their writing. I miss also being in Joseph's, and where I can see that the people who are teaching love teaching and love. I feel that even here because the professors definitely do love teaching. But like being one of the professors and seeing that love for teaching was something that I do miss. I think that teaching is something I'd always like enjoy. But yeah. I think wait one sec. Hi, Harshit, hi. Thank you, Sana. Sorry, I just saw messages and I was like, thank you so much, Harshit. I miss your writing.
Yeah, I think we miss your teaching as much as you miss teaching. It was so nice learning from you, and yeah, it's just I think I'm fanboying a lot, so I don't have like my mind is like fully uh, but so do you like have like is teaching part of your course? Like, do you like have to teach at some point, or like is it like is more like
So right now what I'm doing is not compulsory, but next year I will have to teach. So I'll be teaching one section of creative writing. So I'm excited for that. We get to decide what, meaning you may be teaching different things, but you get to decide a theme if you want to. So I'm thinking of maybe doing fairy tales, which excites me. Yeah. Also, I remember the first story I read by you was a fairy tale retelling.
Sorry, ma'am?
The first story I read by you was a fairy tale retelling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember like being blown away. I was like sitting in my it was over Zoom and it was
Writing desk,
right the writing desk and I remember just like being like, oh, it was amazing.
Thank you, ma'am. That gave me the push to like I didn't use like I don't think I wrote fairy tale retellings before that. So like I think I wrote it in response to something that VJ ma'am gave us, but then I think in the same day I read it again in the evening from writing desk, and yeah, it made me want to write more because you were so excited about it, and I never got a reaction like that from anyone. So yeah, um, so yeah, so how do I put this? So I freaked out when I found out when that you like you met Machado and you and that and then you also gave her the copy of the translation, I think. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about that and like what's Machado like in person and
I really loved meeting her. She was very lively, it was great. So what happened was I was walking into, so our classes happen in this building called Dye House. So I was walking into Dye House and I saw her on the lawn and she was talking to one of our professors. And I was like, that's probably not her. I'm probably imagining it. And I walked away. And then I was walking down the stairs, and as I was walking down the stairs to pick up like a paper, and as I was walking down the stairs, I saw her and I asked, excuse me, hello, are you Carmen Maria? And she said, yes. And I was like, well, so the students, I mean, I used to study in, I worked in, and so I was like completely flustered. And I told her about all of you and how you had done that translation of the husband stitch. And I gave her the copy of the translation. And then she talked with us and it was really great. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's like a dream life for me. I don't know, like I think I would have had a very different response, but yeah, it's just
What would your response be?
I wouldn't speak or just be
Yeah, I was shaking. And even yesterday when I met Joe Sacco, like my hands were shivering.
yeah. So I know what I asked Cynthia ma'am about Joe Sacco thing, but can I say it here or is it like
No.
I can say it. Okay, I can.
No.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So Okay, I want to know more about Iowa. So can you tell me like more about like how your day is like if,
Okay.
one day in the life of Iowa?
One day in life.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get up, which feels like something everyone does, and then I usually text a friend. Often it's a friend, Maya. Which not the one who in the work in college, obviously, but I used to talk about her too. I talked about the Maya and the department to Maya and the workshop. And yeah, so my friend Maya and we write together. We go to a cafe or a library. The library is beautiful. And we write. And I spend most of the day writing, but sometimes there's like an event happening. So I go for that. Or on Tuesdays, we have workshop, which is so much fun. I love workshop. We go for that. And then I have classes on Mondays. And now I'm teaching that small thing on Wednesdays. But apart from that, I'm mostly just like Thursday, Friday means it's just writing time. I just get to do a lot of writing.
That's amazing.
Also, it's snowing.
It's snowing right now.
Mm-hmm. It's
Wow.
not snowing right now, but there's snow on the ground.
Yeah, I remember you told me when it first snowed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're very happy.
I was.
Have you found your like favorite reading spot in the in Iowa? Is it a library or is it like some other spot?
So I'd say, so it also depends on who I'm meeting, because I meet people usually when I'm going out. And so I'd say I have 3 favorite places. One is the city library, where I meet Maya. The second is Prairie Lights, where I meet a lot of people, including Maya again and Drew. And then the third is High Ground, where I've met a lot of people again, but most often Haria, who is a lovely, lovely writer. And when her books comes out, you have to buy it.
Wow.
Her stories are just, they're like, I feel like that about everyone, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I cannot follow every thought like because it's like I'm just so excited, but I just knowing everything for me because I don't think we called after like you left. Like we mailed each other and we texted, but yeah, this is the first time I think I saw it. Once we video called, I think BJM video called and we were all there.
Oh yeah. I said hi to all of you. Yeah, on Vijay Ram's phone.
Yeah, that was there. But one thing that I always think about when I think of you is stories because like you were fascinated by stories. Like you talk about stories within stories. You brought Shahrazad to class, and I think every time I think of writing a story, somewhere in the back of my mind, I would be like, yeah, this is like I don't know. You in some ways like you have become a story. I mean, we are stories, but like it's it's one thing like the word story. Like if I think something like a tale, maybe your name doesn't come up. But if it's a story, I'd always think of you. So what has changed about your relationship with stories?
That's a good question. So I'm still very much in love with stories, and I still like the work I'm writing on now is metafiction, so it's like it's just like fiction about fiction, and it's got stories within stories. I started writing it when I was teaching you because I was like thinking about Scheherazade so much that I wanted to do what she did. I mean, I can't save the world, but I can write stories within stories. And how has it changed since then? Has it changed since? I suppose one thing that has happened is that I'm less scared of it because for the longest time, So I was convinced that I had somehow got here by some, I don't know, unseemly means that were not real, that I hadn't deserved to get in here. And I recently had my workshop, and it went really well. And I realized that maybe I do deserve to be here, and maybe my stories are not the worst, and maybe even if they are the worst, I don't have to be scared of them. They're I like to think of stories as living, and so I'm not, but not living as a scary being, but like living like a dog. It's something that you love and something that is real and something that will bring you great joy, and that's happened for me now. I being able to realize that I'm not the worst writer, but also that even if I was, it didn't matter. That helps.
I'm getting a little slight bit of deja vu because I feel like the part where you said like stories is living and how you're less scared of stories. I feel like I've heard this before. Like you've probably told that to me before.
I've
Like,
definitely told you about the stories I live in.
yeah, yeah. So in some ways it hasn't changed, I feel like the relationship or
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. Yeah, that's really nice. So okay, so this is a question that the department collectively wants to know.
Uh,
Well, first is are you eating, and second is are
yes,
there
I'm
papayas
eating.
in America?
I'm not eating papayas. I knew the papaya would come. I was certain someone would ask about papayas.
Wow. That so yeah. I mean, Arul sir wanted to also ask. Like, I was going around asking people what they want. Like, we'll open this up to audience, but even then, like, I was going around asking what people wanted to ask, and well, I guess the fact that you're not eating papaya kind of puts you like ahead of Arul sir. But Arul sir asked like, isn't polyamory the best?
Oh, yo, of course he'd ask that. He's written about polyamorous papayas in that strange letters thing.
Huh.
I was like, oh God.
Yeah. Well, I think you win because you're not having papayas.
Yeah, I'm not having papayas.
Mm. Yeah. So okay. Personal question: do you miss Lal Bagh?
I do miss Lal Bagh. Lal Bagh was lovely. And I miss Neera. And I miss Shinju. I miss Shinju so much. I crave it a lot often. Is it still in the canteen?
They still give it in the cat.
Oh my God, I'm dying. I really miss Shinju. And then I miss all their food. I miss Meghna's. My mom sent me a picture of Meghna's biryani today, so I miss that. Oh
Do
yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah. If I miss Shinju, and I do.
what do you miss the most from Bangalore?
Well, you guys and my
Oh,
family.
oh,
Yeah, that's easy. That's an easy one.
that's an easy one. Okay, what do you miss
Yeah,
aside us about
Shinju.
Bangalore city?
Oh,
Since
right, about the city. Yeah,
yeah,
Shinju definitely.
Iowa and Bangalore, like what? How are they different in terms of like a city?
So you remember how I used to go to Mateo's and write all the time, and they were really kind and never shut me out because like they were really sweet to me.
Yeah, we took
Um,
over that position.
oh yay! Well, I do that in a lot of places now, but I'm not the only one doing it. Everyone there is doing it. They're just getting there and writing, and that's a brilliant feeling. Just seeing people. So it's like being in the department, but you can go to many different spaces and be in the department, which I like.
It's very nice, ma'am. So okay, so we talked about what you miss in Bangalore. What brings you the most joy in Iowa?
My cohort. They're really lovely. They are some of the best writers and best people I've met, and I think they're amazing. I think that's definitely what brings me the most joy, and like it's my cohort.
So do you still take long walks when you're anxious?
I do
Take long walks
sometimes,
tonight.
but right now it's really cold, it's freezing, and yeah. But they're really pretty places. Like there's so right now it's freezing and that's not a good thing. But like the house up opposite me is blue and it is beautiful. I like walking by it, even though it's just opposite me. It's like really pretty blue, and it's like, and I like walking in the snow a lot. So that is great. But I don't know if I do as much walking. It's so cold. But I walk to the library every day, which is like a 20-minute walk, which is not much,
That's
but
nice.
it's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. Okay.
Oh, there's a river also, which is really nice to walk by near my
Sorry?
house. There's a river near my house, which is really nice to walk by.
Oh, there's a river. That's very nice.
It's really beautiful, yeah. It got frozen over during winter. Well, it's still winter, but it got frozen over for a while. But now it's water again.
Oh, yeah. You sent me the like picture of when it was like frozen and all.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yes, you did. So I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah, Nikita ma'am asked this question. How do you like? Okay, she asked this question is, how do you get students to fall in love with you? Not romantically, she adds, but in all the ways.
Oh, that's such a sweet question. Thanks, Nikita. I don't know that I do.
You do, ma'am.
That's really sweet. Oh goodness. I guess I'm just really lucky that the students are really kind, and that, oh, thank you, Harshit. And that I don't know. I think one thing that helps me personally, I don't know if anyone likes me or loves me or anything, but one thing that helps is just something my dad always says, which is just be yourself, which I know is like advice everyone gives everyone, but it actually does help because I'm not the most sophisticated, I'm not confident all the time, and just allowing myself to like be awkward, be happy, be sad, and just be myself, it means that people probably see that you're trying to like just, I understand them, and maybe they understand you. But again, I don't know if any of this is true, which is really sweet of her. But yeah.
It's true, ma'am. We all love you. It's
Oh, thank you.
yeah. So I think I personally also am curious about, like, you have told me this before, but I think it's worth like bringing it up again. Like with it's again an Iowa question.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
yeah. So what's the how do you what would you suggest to people who are looking forward to get into workshops like Iowa? So what do you think? Like I personally am considering creative writing, even though like I've not made up my mind yet. I'm just thinking. So what would you say to us?
Okay, so how Iowa works is that the admissions process is that you write the three things you submit, basically. One is the statement of purpose. One is, oh, is it a personal statement? Apparently there's a difference. I don't know what the difference is. And one is the portfolio, and the third is your letter of recommendation. I suggest pay attention to all of them, but since the one thing that's really in your hand is the portfolio and also the personal statement, but really the portfolio is very important. Send your best work. Read their guidelines really clearly. Iowa, for instance, has a video online where our director Sam Chang talks to, I think, Tameka, and they talk about how they choose students. That's a good video to watch if you're thinking of applying to Iowa in particular. I think, yeah, send your best work, do research. I feel like these are all answers everyone sort of knows, but I also don't feel too bad when things don't work out, because you never know what will, right? Like some things work out and some things don't, and you may get in somewhere and you may not get in somewhere else, but you may get into the really best place possible. And I think just keep writing, and like send it. Like I'm very scared of sending things in anywhere, so the fact that I sent it to Iowa is a huge thing for me. And so just send it. That's the important thing, I think. Send what you're scared to send.
Just keep writing, as Dory would put it.
As Dory would put it, yes.
We have a question from Harshit. He asks, ma'am, do you miss Blossoms?
I do miss Blossoms. Blossoms was beautiful and wonderful, is beautiful and wonderful. And I miss going there and just being like, books are very expensive here, so I really miss being able to buy books. Yeah, I miss Blossoms a lot. I miss being able to go from Blossoms to Matteo and Matteo to Blossoms. So yeah, definitely. Thanks, Harshit.
Vijaya ma'am also has a question. She asks, could you tell us if you are reading differently now, and also what are you reading?
So I'm reading a lot of workshop stories, actually, more than anything else. So things written by people I know. So a lot of fiction by my classmates, who I think are brilliant writers. I think apart from one book I read last year, all the stories I read that were my favorites were all from my workshop. So that was a big thing. And they've written like realism, speculative, crime, and all brilliantly written. But I'm reading a lot of things by people I know, but reading has changed in one way. I'm reading there's this genre called slipstream fiction, which is basically it's like in opposition to mainstream. It's fantasy literature, it's speculative literature, not necessarily fantasy, which is also literary. I have a problem with the term literary, but it's also literary in the sense that it does really weird things, it pushes at boundaries, and it's very strange often, but it's still like fantasy and still speculative, and I think it's like, for me, it's the most beautiful sort of writing. So I'm really reading a lot of that right now. I'm really enjoying it.
Adding on to the question, you said you read like people in the workshop, and I'm just wondering if the writing that they come up with, like individually, is it very, how different is it? Like how diverse is it, or is it like? Oh,
it is so diverse. It is so diverse. So people will tell you things like, there's an Iowa way of writing. There really, really isn't. I'm reading from people in the workshop, and everyone writes so differently. And I remember talking to someone from a senior batch, and they would tell before I came, and they told me that we're all very different and the writing is different. But I realized how true that is, because some people are really funny, some people are really lyrical, some people like everyone's style of writing is completely different, and I love that. I get to read so many different types of writing, and it's amazing.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. I kind of imagine like the writing to be quite similar, but yeah, it's good because I had heard of like how there is an Iowa kind of writing, but yeah.
Yes, I don't think there is. They actually allow you to. So my favorite thing, okay, I've said many favorite things, I think, but one of my favorite things about this place is that it allows you to grow into the writing that you want to do. So even if, so I don't write much realist fiction, but that's okay. And even though most people write realist fiction, the fact that I'm not writing it doesn't in any way make me less. They allow me to less grow in the way I want to grow.
Adding on to the question that I added on. So I asked this question to Pranava and Ishwari, I think, when we had that session on writing desk, that when you were there. It might not make a lot of sense because you are among like you are in Iowa now, but are there people who you used to read writings of that you go back to like now, like here, like Vijay Ma'am's or Ulcers or any blog or stuff that you used to read, you go back to it and like is it the same, like is the reason you go back to it the same as it used to be before, or like something has changed?
Yeah, okay, so I definitely go back to all their writing. I go back to Vijay Ma'am all the time. The other day I was looking at Drishti's. I read Cynthia's letters all the time. Arulsa, of course. Also you, Lona. I read yours a lot. And has something changed? Let's see. I still feel great admiration and love for the writers. And I think the only thing that's changed is that the sense of missing someone, like not being able to like talk to them about the piece with like face to face, or like fangirl in front of them. And now like reading it is sort of like I can text you and tell you that I loved your piece, but it's not the same as being like, oh my goodness, how did you do that? And that I miss. So I do go back to all of you a lot. And actually, since Harshit has asked me a question, I'm not responding to the question, but Harshit, I go to your writing a lot also.
Yeah, Shilpa ma'am had a question also. She's asking, you said your typical day is spent in writing. What is that like, to spend whole days just writing?
I love it. I thought I'd hate it, but I love it. I mean, like I have moments when I'm just like, I can't write. I'm a terrible writer. Why am I doing this? What fraudery, trickery have I pulled off? But then there are other moments that I'm just like, and stories are not coming. And I'm like, ah. But then there are other moments where I'm like, it's okay if the stories are not coming. I'm trying. And also that just being able to sit at a table and stare at a laptop screen sounds so boring, but I feel immersed in stories, and I'm usually doing it with someone else. So the fact that I'm doing it with someone else means I can stop in between and talk to them, or tell them, this is going terribly, or just like, I don't know. I thought I'd like burn out really quickly if I was writing every day. And I'm not writing every day. I write most days, but not every day. And I'm not burning out. I'm actually falling more and more in love with it. I suppose, so I think what I feel with writing is a little like what I feel with shadow, except less intense, even though it is also very intense. I could spend my entire life with it, I think, and I would still love it so much. As much as I would hate it, I never hated Shadow, but as much as I would feel frustrated and feel like I wasn't enough for it, which I did feel with Shadow, I never felt like I was enough for him. I think I will always love it, and that feeling is amazing.
I think that's a great chance for me to ask the real question. What
Yeah.
are you writing?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, okay, you know what I'm writing, I think.
I know what I'm writing for the sake
Yeah.
of humanity.
For the sake of humanity. Okay, so I'm gonna go like a roundabout version of this story. When I submitted something for Iowa, I submitted 4 chapters of something that I had not finished. And at the time, people asked me, "Have you written a novel?" And I hadn't, so I said no. But I would avoid the question, like, I mean, it's just like a long story. I don't know if it was going to be a novel or not, but I wanted it to be. I think I've reached a point where I can say I'm trying to write a novel. It's not succeeding. It's like, it's weird and I don't feel proud of it yet, but I'm attempting a novel. And that's a big thing for me to say in public. It's about, do you remember Kayla, my mermaid?
Yeah, yes, of course.
It's about Kayla.
Yeah.
And I'm having a lot of fun. It's metafiction, so and it's speculative, and it is inspired by Scheherazade, so it has stories within stories, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I cannot wait to like see it in print and
It
just
probably will never be in
read it
print, but it's
and read it
happening.
in it will be for sure to be. Yeah, so I think Harshit has another question. Ma'am, writing is always personal. So how do we draw the line of our personal experience while writing something? It is so difficult for me personally to draw that line.
So I have the same thing. I think sometimes when I write, I reveal too much. And that makes you vulnerable, and that makes people see things that you don't always want them to see. What I'm gonna say is, I think you should write it anyway, but putting it up is a different choice. So I think the writing always helps. I think no matter how personal it is, no matter how much it hurts you, well, maybe not if it hurts you. If it hurts you, then maybe allow yourself not to write it if you don't want to. But if it helps you get through the hurt, then write it. So I suggest writing it anyway, no matter how personal it is. If you want to write it, if you truly want to write it. But if you don't want to put it up, that doesn't matter. You don't have to. You can just keep what you write for yourself sometimes. I think that's okay.
Do we have any more questions for Shefali ma'am? Any questions?
Are you in the department?
I am in the department. It's Arunsel's couch.
Yeah, I thought so. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, it's got even more stuff now.
Yeah, there's more stuff now.
Wow. Amazing.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Shireen had wanted to know if you think about Shireen in Iowa.
Oh, actually, I do think about Shireen in Iowa. So I was thinking about the Linguistic Society the other day. And I was thinking about both Jaswant, Shireen, Aditi, and well, I said both, but Jaswant, Shireen, Aditi, and Pavitra. So I think, and you also, because you were not officially part of the Linguistic Society then, but you made yourself part, and it was amazing. You were brilliant.
I am now officially the part of Linguistic Society. So
I know you are the convener. That is amazing.
I scammed my way through, ma'am.
No, that was not a scam. You deserved it.
It was a deserving scam.
Okay, fine. That's how I feel about being here. So
we are all deserving scams, ma'am.
Oh, Nitya said they call you Lone of Lingles. Yeah, that makes sense to me. You are definitely Lone of Lingles.
Yeah, every time I say a pun, they're like Luna fingers.
Oh,
But we miss you though in Link Sub.
yeah. I miss Linksock too.
Yes. um. Uh. I don't see any more questions. Okay, I think Yasmin is typing a question. She's just right next to me. She typed her questions.
That was fast. Hi,
Yeah. Yasmin wrote, ma'am, it's so good to see you. This is a slightly weird question, but I was wondering if you have read anything that has horrified you in a good way, in a creative way.
Okay, let me think. Okay, yeah, actually. So first of all, Yasmin, lovely to hear, well, not your voice, but your chat, your typed letters. And it would be lovely to see you too at some point. But there are definitely many things that I've read. So some, I wouldn't say horrified me, but there are definitely stories in the workshop that lean on darker sides and yet are so beautifully written and so important. And like there was one about slavery, which was just gorgeously done. And it's such a difficult thing to write about, but it was just done so amazingly. And I was in awe. But also, I think slipstream fiction has a lot of really weird, really strange, kind of scary things happening, but I love reading them. So I'm currently writing. I'm working on a short story also. So and a lot of weird things are happening. There's a TV that is melting. There's a library that is melting. There's uh, uh, there is a person who turns into a tree, and it's all really weird and a little not so light and sunshine. It's not very dark, but like not sunshine. And yet I'm having a lot of fun writing it. And it's about a girl and her brother, and I adore my brother, and he better be on this video. He's probably not. But yeah, so it's about a girl and her brother, and it's very much based on me and my brother. So I'm really enjoying it.
Vinay sir had a question. He asked, what do you think of your voice? Do you know that he likes your voice?
Oh, that's so sweet, Vinay. What do I think of him? I've never. I always thought it was too squeaky. I think. Yeah. But it's really sweet of Vinay to say he likes it.
Yeah, it is. I love your voice, ma'am.
Thank you.
But I'll just make that question longer and see. What do you think of your writing voice?
Oh, my writing voice. Oh, wow, sorry.
No, I think he meant the. I think I don't know what he meant at all at this point. I'm very confused. But he meant one of these two things, so he can answer both things.
Okay, my writing voice. I think my writing voice is something that, like with all writing voices, keeps changing. And so it changes as I change. And I get worried sometimes that it changes in ways that are not like which other people won't like. But I can't help that. And so I think my writing voice is something I think of as being very much a part of me, but something that shifts and something that turns and twirls around and does ballet. I don't think it's static. At the same time, I know that there is something in my writing that makes it mine, because not because there's something in everyone's writing that makes it there, but also because I've had many people tell me that they can hear me reading out what I've written. And I find that very scary because I don't think I like to have my own voice in my ear all the time when I'm reading my work. But it's changing and it shifts, and I don't love it, but it's mine.
There's another text from Harshit. Ma'am, I remember we read the story of Shahrazad in last semester. Cynthia ma'am introduced us a poem in it by Richard Sykin. It was honestly a beautiful connection with the poem and story. I read Richard Sykin a lot and really couldn't stop talking about him.
So Cynthia introduced not Shahrazad, but the poem Shahrazad to me as well. And I think Sykin is great. I don't always understand poetry, but thanks to Cynthia, I now really appreciate it. Well, actually, Cynthia and my mom, and Arusa, and Vijay and Etienne, and a lot of people. But because of Joseph, Cynthia, and my mom, I now appreciate poetry. And I realize that it's so beautiful. And yeah, so Shahrazad is a great poem and I think a great story. I really enjoy. I think Shahrazad is brilliant. She's my heroine.
Yeah, I don't see any more questions in the chat box. If anyone has anything else to say, just wait a minute. And then we can close.
How have you been, Lonav?
I have been good. It's been amazing. I'm really enjoying the meta. I might be a little biased, but I'm enjoying this meta more than the last meta. Yeah, I like it. I'm biased, but it's definitely been fun. We have had like so much things happening, and it's just crazy. So it's yeah, I'm having a great time with meta, and yeah,
I'm so
looking
glad.
forward to everything else. Looking forward to Lingles.
Oh yes, what's Lingles doing this year?
Lingles will do. We're thinking of. Okay, I don't know how much I can tell about it, but like.
Oh, okay, yeah, keep it. Yeah, let me know later. I will find out.
I'll let you know later, but we are like most likely going for a intercollegiate fest. Probably.
Amazing.
Probably yes. And we're selling postcards, obviously, and shadier stuff, and shadier things. But yeah, that's Lingles. But yeah, it would be lovely if we could have you to do something for it as well.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so I think that's it. I don't see anything else on the chat box. It was so lovely talking to you, ma'am. It's been like so long. I'm really looking forward to meet you. I don't know if you'll come back.
I'd love to meet you.
Yes.
Right.
So, would be lovely to have you.
Wait, what? Did Cersei have papayas?
Yes.
Oh goodness. Hi, sir. I don't like papayas, sir. I feel like I'm safe saying that so far away, but now when I come back there, I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna have to eat papayas.
We'll probably have a stall just of papayas for you, ma'am.
Oh God. Yeah.
You didn't give your good news.
No, I'm gonna tell that to sir first before I tell everyone else.
Yes. Nitya Catherine says, my heart is so warm right now.
Oh, thank you, Nitya. It's so lovely to hear your name again. Because I can't hear your voice. It's so nice.
Okay. I think that is a good note to end this session with. Warm hearts Thank you so much for coming and talking to us, Shefali ma'am. It's always lovely talking to you, and it's
It's
just
so lovely to talk to you,
um,
Lona.
yeah. Before we leave, I'll just announce tomorrow's schedule. Just a second. Tomorrow we have uh, a workshop by Nisha Susan, How to Be the Heroine of Your Life. And then we have two quizzes, Otaku, which is a written quiz, and then Bookends, a book quiz sponsored by Bookworms. Both are happening in Xavier Hall. Otaku is happening at 2 p.m. and Bookends is at 4 p.m. The workshop is happening from 10:30 to 12:30 p.m. Sorry, a.m. Uh, so yeah, so we have a very eventful day tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. And I hope everyone comes and joins us. Yeah. Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Lona.
Bye, ma'am. See you.
Bye,
Bye. Oh, lovely to see
Thank
you too,
you.
Nifia.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.